Well, we're live on YouTube now, Brian.
Okay.
What up, YouTubers?
Hello, hello.
All right. Window capture. All right, guys, we're going to go live. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Horror Syndicate. We are here live tonight. We are going to be talking about 90s horror, and of course, our main event of the night will be talking about The Dark Military, a New Jersey horror movie, New Jersey independent horror movie coming out this year. We got director Lauren W. Lepre, and we have the director of photography and producer Steve Carino here as well. But let's introduce ourselves. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook here, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Jew. It's that green bar right there. So hit me up. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and all you boils and ghouls at home. You can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau, or if you like to do the twatverse, you can follow me at zombie_survivor. Back to you.
All right.
Brian.
Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have our president and Fuhrer, Razor. Ray, good evening.
Hey, everyone. You follow me at Razor_33. Cheers.
All right, and I'll introduce you guys individually. First, we have the director of photography, producer, Steve Carino. Steve, good evening.
How you doing? Just to clarify, I'm not the main director of photography. I'm really the editor, visual effects guy, and overall producer. I help Lauren to shape the material and make the Dark Military what it is. But the director of photography, Lauren, jump in here.
That went to our buddy Coach, whose name is oh God! All right,
There's a reason why we call him
has
Coach.
a name that's so hard to pronounce.
His first name is Zephyr.
Zephyr the Cuso or something. I'm so sorry, Coach. I'm saying your name wrong, but you shouldn't have a name like that. You should change it.
But just to get back, Coach was an amazing personality, and I noticed with different director photographies, there's different ways that you can shoot a film as far as your lenses and everything, just capturing everything in frame fast. Because that's the way we shot this. We shot this really, really fast. So Zephyr just jumped in there with us, and he listened to what we had to say. He had his own ideas, and he helped make The Dark Military feel more like a bigger budget movie than it actually is. So,
And
a lot of credit.
I will also throw in that we'll obviously get this, but we shot for 9 straight days and 7 straight days, and then we added 3 more. But we were on a tight schedule, so that was another reason a guy like him was so crucial to get the shots that we need, obviously, and make them look good. For Steve and I to sign off on. So yeah, to his credit, he kept right up with everything.
Awesome.
All right, well, I do apologize about that, getting the information wrong, but we're live, and the mistakes like that happen all the time, but thank you, Steve, and thank you, Laura, for clarifying that. I do apologize. Yeah, and last but not least, we have director and writer and actor himself, Lauren W. Lepre. Thank you for joining us on tonight's show.
Drink up, everyone. Have some fun. It's going to be a good chat with everyone. Thanks for having us on the show.
You're very welcome. So we're discussing 90s horror, but first we're going to get into it. These two gentlemen have a movie premiering very soon, I believe, called The Dark Military, and the trailer and music video you just watched is about the dark side of the web. And it looks like there are hunters live streaming some deaths of New Jersey partygoers in the middle of the woods. Now, this is a pretty cool concept. We here at the Horror Syndicate got to experience The Dark Military, but we're going to talk about it, about behind the scenes and everything. This is your exclusive to the world of The Dark Military. So, how did this idea come of form?
God. Okay, so listen, I'm a guy that's been living by myself for 10 years, and in my day job, I work by myself. Let's just say you have too much time in your head and your mind wanders. So Steve and I've known Steve about maybe 4 years, and I've been in the film industry for about 7. And, you're sitting there, when could I kick off and make an actual feature film? And in my head, I'm like, you're going to need $500,000. You're going to need $1 million. You're going to have to wait. You got to wait. And there was the director of the movie Death House, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. It's like the Expendables of everybody who was a horror icon is in it. He made a movie called Camp Dread. And I was at the Berlin Mart in Jersey, and I saw the DVD for $1. And I bought it, and I'm watching the movie trailers, and I saw a trailer called All Hallows Eve. And it had 3 clowns in it. And I watched it. The trailer looked beautiful. And I was like, you know what? This looks great. It didn't look too expensive to shoot. And I just saw a vision of a team. I couldn't picture them. And I said, there hasn't really been a team. The Devil's Rejects as a team, as a family. So it was Leatherface and his family. My mind wandered. I came up with the idea for the Dark Military and just went to town on it. And I pulled a lot of favors over the last a lot of favors for this film. I've been taking care of Philadelphia for a while. I'm a very social person. I'm always out, and producing a film is huge. It's really huge. And if you know a lot of people, you can beg them and cry and say, please get me this for free. And that's basically what happened. I took care of a lot of people. I paid for a lot of things, but there was a lot of favors called in on this one. So we shot it right here in South Jersey.
Oh yeah, no, I for some reason the woods looked extremely familiar, and hearing that you guys were doing the Dark Military. First, I heard about the Dark Military from Steve Carino, who we first met at, I believe it was a premiere for the Mad Max movie, Fury Road, and
one of my favorites.
And we met. And Steve actually showed me a trailer for a movie that he's been working on called Planet Mirrorball, which was extremely impressive. Me and Jared especially are huge retro synthwave fans, so it looked like a lot of the inspirations were in there. And then of course your segment doing with the midnight movie.
Midnight Show.
I believe it's called Midnight Show.
Midnight Show.
And then
it's a new one bag.
And then I saw the Geeks, Guns, Girls, and Ghouls, which is a short on Polybius arcade video game.
Yes. Yeah. I made that also. Did all the visual effects for that and whatever. But yeah, I'm glad you followed this. But I was telling Lauren, this guy Brian, he lives over in Runnymede, and he was having a yard sale, and somehow we're friends on Facebook. I don't remember how, but I saw he's having a yard sale. He took a picture of the junk in his yard. I'm like, I want that Burt Reynolds DVD. So I just swung down there and took that.
You can't see his wall, that outside of that room, but Burt Reynolds, he lives on in Steve's house. Let's just say that.
The very alive Burt Reynolds lives on. That's
so.
Well, I feel like Burt Reynolds is dead inside. He definitely looks like it in the tabloids, but he made some pretty good movies, and I've never seen Gator. And Steve hit me up on Facebook. He saw my yard sale, and he's like, I really want that double pack of Gator, and I think the second one was The Longest Yard. I do not remember.
It was High Tough.
Oh, okay. I can't honestly remember. I think like an ex-girlfriend gave me the DVD, and I just never got around to it, like bad mojo. So you carry on the existence of my ex-girlfriend. So thank you very much, Steve,
I'll
for doing
remember
that.
that the next time I watch that. Like,
So you guys,
Mojo of ex-girlfriend. Okay.
So you guys teamed up. You guys, worked together on the Dark Military. Did you guys shoot this film during the summertime, wintertime?
We shot it in September of 2015. We shot the first day on September 12th, and then we were off till the next weekend. And then we went through 7 straight days, and then we fell a little bit behind shooting that final fight scene that you see. And that went into Sunday, so we went 8 straight days. And obviously a lot of the movie was at night, so call time 4:30. Around then it's dark around 6:30, so we shot 6:30 to about 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning. That's how that went.
And how long was the shoot?
Total days 10.
10 days.
We added 2 more days on that basement scene and the news reporters, and then the celebrities, Alex Vincent and Sharon Lynch, stuff like that. That was like the extra thing.
That's where I stepped in as director of photography. So I'm like second unit director of photography. So that's where my credit came in at.
Yeah.
But that's small stuff compared to what Coach did.
Yes.
Got it. And I definitely saw a lot of inspirations in this movie. When I first saw the trailer, I got a very Running Man type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I continuously watched the movie, and it was very much like as you were explaining, Lauren, kind of like the Firefly family from the Devil's Rejects, and just an homage to that, like we're a family of these villains. And it definitely want to make a name for themselves in the movie. And I definitely saw a lot of my favorite video game. I don't know if you guys played it. Maybe it's just a coincidence. There was Manhunt, Rockstar's Manhunt for the PlayStation 2, which was was like a mix of the Warriors meets the Most Dangerous Game. And I say that with like the atmospheric tone of the Warriors. Like how everything is like at nighttime, and you hear like that whole synth soundtrack.
Me and Lauren are very into the Warriors.
That's right.
Yeah, we're big into the Warriors. We're big into a lot of older films.
I'm into the Wanderers more than the Warriors, even.
But not to speak for Lauren, but we're not into video games. I'm especially not into video games. So I can't really talk about that topic.
I stopped at Sega Genesis, so you guys all know.
I'm Star Wars at PlayStation 2. That's where I stopped at.
Manhunt's on PlayStation 2, actually, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, the Manhunt is on PlayStation 2.
Rockstar did it.
Oh, okay. I think where I stopped was
Photo.
Vice City was the last game I played.
That's a good one.
But
the games I played were either the James Bond games, and I can't remember the titles off the top of my head, or Vice City. I had the Scarface game also, but
oh boy,
yeah, but I didn't. You know what? I'm such a bad player. I just go around killing people till I die, and that's the end of it. I don't really think about trying to get through the game. So,
and that Scarface game, I think it came out for like PlayStation 2 and Xbox, the very original. And I think the beginning of it opened up with Scarface shooting up the cartel after they invaded his home in Miami. And
yeah, he got out of that. He lived through that.
Yeah,
and then he ran. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, so it's bad.
I mean, I guess that's what happens when you do too much cocaine. You become invincible, and you're able to take as many shots as you can.
Makes sense, doesn't it, though?
What was that?
It makes sense, doesn't it? Do too much cocaine, you're invincible.
Well, here's the thing: the next time you're getting shot at, just do some cocaine. You'll make it out alive.
Oh,
my
Jesus.
I saw. I'll tell you, not to get off the topic, but I saw Scarface in the theater when I was 13. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, that was a fun time. That was great. I always skewed towards older entertainment movies than kid movies when I was younger. So that's just it was just a bizarre experience just watching that. And that's what I kind of want to bring with me in any movie that I make. I want to make it a little bit bizarre, a little offbeat, a little bit not what you expect, if that makes any sense. Because if you walked into the theater and you saw Scarface back in the day, you weren't really prepared for that kind of experience. All that, so that's my take on that.
Yeah, no, and I think like De Palma had to do like 4 different cuts because he kept getting the NC-17 rating, and then he made like a final cut, and they finally approved it. But he released the NC-17 version to theaters and wrote it off as the R-rated.
Oh, nice.
And it changed nobody's life. So.
But you know, violent movies. Of course, this is what we're getting with the Dark Military. This ultra violent concept of this mercenary group in the woods hunting some New Jerseyans, some drunken New Jersey fans. And you know, was this like a concept of something that you like wanted to do as a movie from the very beginning, or is this like was this just like the ultimate mindset that you've had as a first movie, Lauren?
To have them, I'm lost on your question.
I'm asking to have a bunch of New Jersey young adults murdered was like an idea for the first movie.
All right, let me clarify. Sorry, because it goes with the DP era. You don't know where this is taking place.
Okay.
It's never specified. Yeah. Sorry. So I know you want to be pro Jersey here, but you don't know where they're at. They don't know. Remember, they gave them all the beer, and you know the windows are blacked out, so they don't know where they're at. So that's why they can't find them in time. So yeah, sorry, but the next one I'll put. How about that? Because this is set up for a trilogy, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like a thing where it's they do this every Halloween?
Yes. I mean, I'm trying not to give too much spoilers away, but I can say as a director that the characters break the fourth wall, and they're talking about a sequel. They're why it's all happening, so it's set up right into the trilogy.
Well, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but your character does mention horror movies a couple of times, so
yes,
they're kind of aware, you know, hyper aware of the
self-aware. Yeah,
they're self-aware. They know. That's where I said there's a little bit of Scream mixed in because you know during Scream they talked about what happens in a horror movie. Yeah. So you know it's absolutely not like Scream in any way, but you know I had that factor in there. So I'm pretty much announcing. To get fans, hopefully that are watching this, to get behind this movie, that they're getting pumped for a trilogy, a new franchise.
Maybe you can get Brian in the next one and kill him.
I think we could do that. You know?
One of the things I was impressed by was the sheer number of people that are in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like you got a bus, like packed full of people to take out in the middle of the woods. And then not only that, you have the officer or the police, the detectives. I mean, you have how many people are in the cast? Like,
honestly, we're about 70.
Jesus.
Yeah. And it's funny because the first day, basically the daytime scenes that you see when before they get on the bus, that was the day one of the shoot. So you're kind of going, obviously not giving spoilers away. It's a horror movie, but you have the most people in the movie on day one because everyone is dying. So each day the cast is dropping in numbers, but that first day was so crucial. You got 70 people there, then you got the crew, that's another 15, and then you got your extras, and it's just like, my credit card can't handle this food bill. You know, it's like
one thing you did really well, I thought, was introducing the characters and setting it up with like try not to give it away, but like on the online, how it had pictures of each one of the characters, you know, you were able to put a face to every character, and where some movies get away from putting characters that you care about, not necessarily saying you care about every character, but you kind of know a little bit about each character going into the situation.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for saying that, because I always hated this pure cattle. Like, you know, They walk in like the Star Trek guys. What are they in the red shirts? What they always say the ones that
Yeah, the red suits.
you know what's the shirt in the Star Trek? You're guaranteed dead.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. But basically, I wanted everybody to have somewhat of a personality. You wanted to definitely have a name to everybody. Say a few words, could be like, oh yeah, this person. And I kind of want it like you have your punks, you got your goths, you got your jocks, you got you got a little bit of group, so everybody could kind of latch themselves onto a team. I wanted someone to relate to everybody. So that was very important. Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was very effective that you were able to give so many characters a personality in such a short amount of time.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing.
Also, there's scenes where you have family members in. I don't want to again spoil. That was very effective as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the movie feels very real world.
Thank you.
You know, with a lot of the situations that are happening. I'm horrible at talking about things without spoiling them, so I'm trying not to spoil it. But I have a really fresh opinion because I watched it last night. So there's a lot. I really liked the beginning of the movie and the setup with the way you, like I said, shuffled in all the characters in. But can I just talk about Jezebel for a minute? I think she was my favorite.
Thank you. I think she did her job. Did she do her job?
I mean, there's like, I don't want to again spoil anything, but like when they're so the movie starts off where these people are going to like almost like it's like a hunting game, not
It's supposed to look like a Halloween theme.
Yeah, like a and she's one of the like the hostesses, like with Lady Nature. Was that her name?
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature, yeah. So they were doing all this, and she was one of the people, and then something else happens, and I don't want to spoil it, but you guys know what happens. I'm sorry, people out there watching. When you watch it, she was the leader. I'm not going to tell you who that is. Those really standout characters in the whole thing.
Thank you.
So,
well,
yeah.
One of the things I wanted when I saw the vision of the team, I wanted a diva. So that's obviously Jezebel is straight up my diva. You could fight. But I also wanted another girl that you looked at that was sexy, but you knew she could tear your freaking head off because she has muscles. And that was the other girl, Delilah.
Yeah, and
she looked like you don't want her to put you in a headlock. Yeah,
no, the thing is, you expect girls, like there was the part where she was faced off with, I think his name was Edgar. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. And she kind of has a little bit of a monologue about being a girl and do you want to hit me because I'm a girl or something like that?
Yeah.
And then she goes to town. It was good. It was good stuff.
She was terrifying.
Yeah.
Did you guys all between all? Did you guys feel like the toughness of Delilah? Did you feel it was real?
Oh yeah, she was terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, both of them really. The thing I liked about Jezebel, though, there's a little bit of.
Is she single?
Yeah. Hey, you're married.
Dang it!
Unfortunately, she's had a boyfriend for about 7 years now.
Ways in the movie.
Oh my God.
That's probably the thing that drew me to her is even in doing what she was doing, she was very seductive about it,
Yep.
and like that, I can't remember his name offhand, but the guy who was after her at the very beginning on the bus.
Travis.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I was right there with him. I probably would have fallen for it too.
And Travis's character was based on me in my early 20s because I was different than that guy. I was
Well, not alone. That's good. I'm glad.
Can I ask you guys, what was your thoughts on the Cook character?
Okay.
I really liked him.
Yes.
Did you stay to the end, Jared?
I really liked him.
Did you stay to the very end of the movie after the credits?
Oh no, there was something after the credits.
I did. I made sure to stay
Oh,
to the
shit.
end of the credits. The Cook character was fun, especially when he comes back in later on in the movie. After he does his initial handing out the hamburgers and everything.
Yeah.
He I guess they come back to his kitchen and he like loses his shit. Sorry, that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so you ever see Cabin Fever?
Let me ask you. He was a fun character, right? He's going to be a likable to
yeah, he was a fun character. Yeah. But that's what I was going to say. And if you've seen Cabin Fever, you remember the character Dennis, who did the karate and all that shit. And it was like, what the fuck is that? But after watching it, it was fucking awesome. You know, and that's kind of like how I felt like the kid. I was like, dude, what is this guy doing here? But it worked. Because you know, that's something that I thought was with the cook. You added a little bit of lightheartedness to it, a little bit of, you know, because from that point on, you know. And having a little bit, because comedy gives you a feeling of safety, I think. So with the cook setting that up and going into the rest of the movie, I think that kind of balanced it out a little bit.
Thank you. I think this is just me as a director. I think number one, a horror movie is just a comedy if the film score is not tight. It really is. I think the film score that I had 3 different people scoring the film, so I think it helped drive the film. But I think you just need to write in a character like that to kind of bring a few laughs, because I think horror movies try too hard to be like, well, this is scary. And if I slam something that's just telling you this is only scary, I can't convince you that this is scary. Maybe it is to you, but maybe the next guy, like, this is just bad acting. You know, like you gotta mix up, I think, the horror with a little bit of comedy relief in it. Or I think you can lose fans. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned when I was doing review on the Dark Military was that you had a lot of someone's got an echo. Not sure.
We're echoing somewhere.
So, but there we go. Oh wait. All right. Sorry about that. We're live. Things happen like this all the time.
Sure, it's not me here.
But one of the things that I mentioned in my review for the Dark Military is you guys had a pretty outrageous comedy aspect of it, where somewhere in the midst of all this violence there is this dark humor where everyone can relate to, and kind of like what you were explaining a little bit earlier, Lauren, how you need that comedic relief in a horror movie. Because it just lets you know that, hey, you're still, it's okay to watch this. Not everything is, dismal and dark and gray. Here's this comedy aspect, and it's funny. It absolutely is hilarious. And
Betty was hilarious.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about the Dark Military, Lauren, you and I have talked about it earlier, was the fact that it was very battle royale, where you're introducing all these characters and they all explain their backstory a little bit, kind of not getting into the movie itself, and you just have everyone just kind of get along, and like you see what people are like this and what people are like that, and then the Dark Military comes, and it's just like it just turns into sheer Game of Thrones, where it's like if you develop an interest for a certain character, guess what? It's not going to work out for you. And it was very entertaining, and that's the thing about movies is when you alter the chemistry of your average horror movie or average action movie, because it wasn't just a horror movie, it was also an action movie. And you reached out to both the fans of different genres out there by having action, having the horror, and you can have anyone relate to it
too. I think like kind of takes you away of a horror movie to a police drama too. That's what I was going for anyway, whether you felt it or not.
Yeah. And of course, the comedy was genuine, and it just seemed like there was no hope for anybody in that movie. It's like you eventually you find out who you're rooting for in the very end, and it's a great build up, and it certainly is impressive considering the fact that even in my review I mentioned that this looked like a movie that could have I bet you if you had a bigger budget. Yes. You would go balls to the wall with practical effects and the action, and of course, probably add more violence and bloodshed.
I have 2 comments on that. Number one, I'm not a diehard, not to bring the crowd down on violence. Like there's obviously some violent deaths in this movie, but there's also a lot of they run into the camera, you know what happened. But a lot of some of the deaths in this movie,
I actually like that. Just for the record,
you like
it's more subtle.
No, the non-violent. It almost takes you back to some of the old Friday the 13th.
Thank you. And honestly, I don't want to sit here and be like sound like Mr. Corporate, but I think it's more marketable to get picked up by if it's like like the Siberian film or something. You're just you got one audience and that's it, and you're done. So I didn't want it to be too over the top with the violence, and that was a very very big thing to me. And also at certain parts when you're shooting, you could start falling behind, and we did some of those deaths changed. They made it a little bit more graphic. You're like, you know what? You're gonna have to neck break this guy just to move on because we got to wrap. We got to get to the next scene. So that's one of the bullets you take as being a director, is be able to change something and still hold true to the script. That's kind of like a make or break, I think, with a lot of directors when you're on a budget like ours. We had, I think, a decent budget for a film like this, but if we had more, obviously we could have had more days and been a little even more tight.
Can we ask what the budget was?
It was, I'm going to just say, within the favors that I saved. Okay, it should have been a lot higher. It was at least $250,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I mean, it was cheaper than that. It was cheaper than that because of all the favors I pulled. But I still had to pay, and I'm still paying every month. I'm still paying for this.
Yeah, but it does. It is and that's what Jared started watching it yesterday before I did, and he said it was shot beautifully.
Thank you.
And it looked more like a bigger budget movie, and it does. I think it plays well that way. And I wanted to piggyback what Brian said about it. It doesn't fall. I don't think it just falls in the horror genre. I think it's a little bit wider, like The Purge, for instance.
Yeah.
That movie straddles a couple different genres. I would say the same thing about The Dark Military.
Thank you, because to the audience watching, hey, if you're a horror fan, this is a horror movie. Get into it, but also for anyone who's into action too, you got both worlds right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to reach. I think horror needs to do that, to reach out a little bit, to other worlds, sample other worlds. So
yeah, definitely the visuals and the editing, color corrections were very exceptional. Especially for a low budget of a movie, self-funded by yourself, and whoever has also put finances into the movie. So it was
enough of people.
It was extremely exceptional. And it definitely was very polished. The version that I saw, you mentioned that in 2015. There was some re-editing and everything that had to go into it to make it look the way that it looks now. It looks fantastic. You guys did one hell of a job in it. And watching the movie, I was waiting for someone to come out like Dynamo from The Running Man and start singing opera while driving a motorcycle. Now is vehicular combat? Is vehicular combat an idea for the sequels? Can we just pick the brain a little bit?
So the sequel has.
Brian is trying to write himself into the sequel. That's what's.
Listen,
let me gain 300 pounds and wear an electric suit and be Dynamo.
I can tell you right now, the sequel is written. Steve has not even read it yet because I don't even want to go there because technically our job isn't done. We have the film fest run. We got to reach the audience yet, which a show like this helps. So thank you. And we got to see how we did before.
Yeah.
It's like a big Philadelphia thing. Everybody just jumps right to the next film. No, my job's not done. So the sequel is written because you got to be ready. Someone might say, "Hey, I love the film so much. I want to throw money your way. Can I see the script?" And I don't have it. I look like a dumbass. So you have the script ready, but the sequel. In tradition of House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, goes from here to way over there. Yeah, their comeback is freaking amazing. Like
they're basically fighting critters in space, is what you're saying.
We're going in a different direction. Well, you can't do the early Friday the 13th thing. Like, well, it's 5 years later. Let's all go back and just walk around these woods. Let's do it again the next decade. There's over 100 kids killed. No, you can't do that. It's got to be real. It's got to be real. So, but I do need about 200 actors for that. So, I need a lot of people.
So you're telling me the next one, spoiler alert, will have another big body count.
Oh wait, but we're gonna plow down hard of this movie. This will be enough. And there's over 20 deaths in this movie, so
yeah, there is a body count in this movie for sure.
Close to 30 on this movie. So for people who want to see a lot of people die, we got almost 30 for you.
The second death was.
So can I bring Steven into this real quick? How long was your project on this film? As the second
unit, on this?
Yeah, like
I was involved in this at the earliest conception stage of this.
Awesome.
He's the first guy. I'm gonna let him have the floor. He's the first guy I told. Like, here's the idea. Here you go.
So people may not know this, but Lauren and I work on a short film festival. Lauren, talk a little bit about the short film festival.
I'm going to throw this right back to Steve, but I run Freedom Shorts. That's the strictly short film fest in Philadelphia. Comedy, horror, drama, cartoons, action. It's like channel surfing. You don't know what you're going to get. I run a 9-hour program, and the other one is Liberty Massacre. Obviously, that's all horror. That's coming up on the 26th. And Steve came in, was coming to my events until I met him. And he said, yo, dude, let's talk. He goes, I think I could help you. And boy, did he.
Yeah. So there was other people doing small events, filmmaker meetup groups. And I thought they were kind of thin or whatever. But like here at Lauren's event, you could see what filmmakers were putting on the screen. You could see what their skill set is, where everybody else was going to these cocktail parties and just saying that they're filmmakers and directors and writers, but you really don't know who they are. I kind of knew who they were, and I wasn't too impressed, and that's why I liked what Laura was doing. So we started working. I was like, dude, I'll help you any which way you can. I'll help you with the advertising, whatever. So putting together flyers and the program of the short films onto DVDs, whatever that would show up on the screen at the Trocadero. And that's how we kind of first started on that. To rewind back is what Brian was talking about. I'm a filmmaker myself. I write my own scripts. I try to get my own projects off the ground. And the filmmakers that we were meeting through Lauren's events, Freedom Shorts, they've made movies too. And we're friends with them, but we're loose friends. We're not that close. And we will see what they're doing. And we didn't exactly agree with what they're doing. And we can't really tell them because we don't want to offend them, kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah. And so, you guys know Monster Mania, the horror convention here in Cherry Hill.
Yeah.
And they will go there, they will set up tables, and we'll look at them and we're like, yeah, dude, I don't know about your approach on this, your movie. But they're all about it. So I'm like, maybe I'm wrong because I didn't make a movie. You guys made the movie. So maybe I'm wrong on this. Let it go and let's see what comes out of it. And, so there's that. But so I want to know more about this whole movie making thing. Now, I've been in video production for 25 years. So I worked on commercials. I worked on infomercials. I worked on TV stations locally. So production-wise, I was pretty good. But I haven't worked on a movie, and that's where I always wanted to be, is working on movies. If you look at the environment behind me, just like your places, I got movie posters up, and that's where my heart is, And so the first thing I wanted to do was I went to LA. I went to a place called the American Film Market, and I wanted to see what it was like if I had a movie. What would I need to do to sell it? What do people who buy movies, what do they want to see? So I went there, talked to a bunch of people, saw the environment that's going there, came back to Philly, and Lauren and I have a lot of the same friends. So I was like, guys, let's make a low-budget horror film, just like everybody else is doing around here. Let's make our own low-budget horror film and let's push it through this American film market, everything that I learned here, and let's see what happens. And so I started working on stuff. Then Lauren's like, I'm making a horror film. And I'm like, good. I don't have to write a script. I don't have to do anything. He's like, do you want to help me? Yes, I will help you because you're doing what I was going to do anyway. So I don't take any financial risk. He's taking the financial risk, and it's his script. He takes all the glory. It's his story. He's the director, but I'm right next to him the whole way. And we're on the set, all the actors that he had that you see in the movie, he knew from being on other film sets, because Lauren's been on all these different short films or whatever features. Lauren can tell you that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but it does seem like all the characters feel like friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you can tell by the way they
And not to cut Steve off, because I can give him the ball back in a second, but one of the key things of filming this for like 7 straight days is when you got that many amount of actors on set, are they going to gel while we're setting up? Is there going to be egos colliding or whatever? So I had to make sure I had the right people, the right players in the right place, that I'm not pulling up to the set and everyone's running up to me like, I can't work with this guy. I can't work with this bitch. That didn't happen. I pulled up. Everyone was just like, hey, Lauren. I was like, good. So, yeah. So for a lot of the actors that have crazy news feeds and act up on sets, even though you didn't do that to me, if you could do it to another director or another set, you're capable of doing that to me. So that's why I stayed away from you. I hand drafted all these people. I just IM them, or I text them or call them. Said, I've got a role in the movie if you want it. And almost everybody said yes.
That's awesome.
That's called being a good coach. I call myself the Bill Belichick. I could make anything work with these actors. They killed it. Back to you, Steve.
Okay, so there was no auditions for everybody, and that's one of the things I've noticed in a lot of local filmmakers also, is they take this almost godlike position where so it's like you're making a movie, but you're like, no one's going to learn anything from you. You can't talk to you. You can't offer any advice. Mm-hmm. So they're the perfect godlike position where they're going to choose people and whatever else. And the thing I liked about Lauren is Lauren never took that position, never took that godlike position over people or lorded over people. That's the one thing I hate, is when people lord over people, hold back information just to make you feel small.
Micromanage.
Yeah. So early on in the process, we recognize that, like, look, Lauren's going to deal with the actors. I'll deal with the production company, the crew and all that. So I'll just make sure that as far as continuity is concerned, because we filmed so fast, super, super fast, a lot of footage captured. And I had to look at this like, well, technically we should be having a shot list, and we should be listing out all the different ways that we're going to film this. And I have a lot of experience shooting events live, and I'm pretty good. Like, I filmed hundreds of weddings, and I just had to be on top of things all the time. So I'm like, I talked to the first AD, and I'm like, we're going to shoot this like an event. We're going to film this like we're a hired camera crew, and we're just going to go in there. And he was only there for one day. He kind of gave me a little bit of static about that. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, but we're doing it. We have no choice. We got to get a zillion footage. How many pages was the first day, Lauren?
We did 30 pages, which is literally unheard of. I think that's 1/3 of the film.
Wow.
In one day.
Basically, for you guys, sorry to everybody who's actually listening, but for you guys that we're doing an interview with, all the way up until we turned night, we shot in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you know how far in we did that. That happened.
Yeah. Yep. So Lauren took care of the actors, and I was like, are they going to know their lines? They're going to know their lines. Okay, good. And my job was basically like, this is the continuity. We're filming this way. Dark Military's on the left side of the screen, or the right side of the screen. The Prey's on the left side of the screen. Just keep it over this way. And that's how I just kind of like moved everything along, just making sure on the playback monitors. Just everything looks like it's going to cut together, and I'm already thinking about the final cut of the movie in my head while they're filming it.
I also would like to throw in. I call Steve the unsung hero of everything that I do. But when you're shooting a film, everyone, so you know, at that hunting ground was staying there overnight because we shot during Pope Week. Okay, so I didn't want anybody going across the bridge because remember they were acting like no one could get out alive, and
just to clarify, that was the time when the Pope came to Philadelphia. So they closed down the entire city of Philadelphia. No one could get in and over the bridge.
Yes.
So that's when we were filming. So half the
everybody
cast
moved
from
to the camping ground. There was trailers. There was a house to stay in. There was tents.
You guys were literally camped.
Yes. I asked everybody. I asked all my actors. I know I'm asking a lot of you, but I was like, could you move your wives up there? Because I was scared if they went across the bridge and they couldn't get across, I'm going to shit my pants. You know, like
they might not come back.
Exactly. So people brought their dogs with them and everything. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, bring that dog. I don't care. So it went really cool. But when you're doing that and you're wrapping at 4:30 in the morning, you know, some of the cast, they're all starting to drink beer. Steve and I realized we're most important. We're going right home, and we're crashing till about 10 in the morning. And then I go meet Steve, and we got to rewatch every clip from the night before to make sure why we have those actors, do we have to reshoot anything? Right. So, you know, to sign off and everything. I mean, you're doing it on the monitors, but you need to see it with a fresh set of eyes. Mm-hmm. So basically, you know, you're doing that and you're rushing up. Okay, we're going to declare me the next day. We're not. We got to reshoot something. So basically, it's like throwing the ultimate party, but you're the host and you can't have one beer. that's what a film shoot is, basically. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's like the epitome of marathon filming.
It is. It's amazing, and you know it's weird because as you're getting down to the final scenes, there's less and less people. So you're coming to set every day like, oh, like everybody's leaving. It's like getting sad, like the party's gonna end. But then you want to go and you want to sleep for 2 weeks and you can't because you got to go through all that footage. Go ahead.
Did you guys pretty much film everything in order?
I'm sorry, Ray, I didn't hear that.
Did you guys pretty much film everything in order?
We got an echo going on.
Yeah, I did. I'm here. I can hear you asking me where we filmed, but I'm not hearing what you're saying.
Was everything filmed in order?
Filmed in order, yes. Okay. That was a key thing to me. It was. Yeah. No, and that's a good question. It was very important to me to try as much as I could. We pretty much did. Film it in order because I wanted the characters to build. And if you go jumping way towards the end, that character development, as much as you're an actor and you should know, it's better if you go the other way. If you can go from start to finish, you're building momentum. You know how another actor is going to work on how you gel together. And it just gets better and better. If you go right to the end, it's bad. I remember listening to the Walking Dead Q&A the first season. I remember Shane and that's a baby. Okay. Shane.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Shane and Rick's wife, the very first scene they had was the love scene. So they came in, met, all right, get on the ground and start making love. I would have found that really awkward, you know? So, yeah, that was like, I remember that during the Q&A, they said that. I was like, wow, okay, that's weird. So I just think it's more of a build-up going the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it happens. There's an echo. Some directors shoot out of order, but you know, a lot of people feel more comfortable shooting in the actual time frame that it's
honestly, that's all on location and when it's available. I think that's how it always is. When you get this location, you got to adjust. But I had all my locations on lockdown, so to any time I wanted. So why not go in order?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as far as the location is concerned, after you had the police station scene, so that's one place. So that was all filmed in one day, of course, sprinkled out throughout the movie. But once we got into the woods, we scouted the location, and I drew a map of the woods and gave every area of the woods its own nickname. So this way we could talk to the crew and the cast and be like, okay, we're going to first base, second base, third base, or the main strip that goes up, down through the woods. We call it Broadway.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Broadway, we had the back path, we got the home path. So this way we could just tell people where we have to go. There's a map, go to it. And that was it. So that helped a lot during production.
Yes, it did. So.
Yeah, and obviously this movie, you could see the heart and soul poured into it. I can't express how many times I said this. You guys did a terrific job on the Dark Military. Is there anything you wanted to mention? Any final stories or shout outs to people who are watching the episode, or anything you want to mention, like trivia or I don't know.
Yeah, everyone would have to have seen the movie. So this is why I give a special thanks to everybody who was involved, and thanks for believing in me. And for everybody watching, pay attention to our Facebook page, Dark Military, and you will see starting next month, we'll be able to start announcing where our film is being screened. We got something fun. We got something hip. We got something different. We need you. We need you, the viewer, to get behind us, independent filmmakers, and support our art. So please keep an eye on us, the Dark Military.
All right, anything from you, Steve?
No, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you guys, and I definitely like your home decor behind you. But I want to say thank you to Lauren, because our paths lined up perfectly, and we never had a blowout. We never had a problem working with each other. We had the same goals, the same ideas, and Lauren, to his credit, he told the people on the cast and the crew, he's like, whatever Steve says, I sign off on. Like, you didn't have an ego trip about how we're working here, because the movie itself is bigger than him or I or anybody in the film. We want to make sure that this film is out there, that lives on its own. And you guys said that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. As long as people enjoy it, that's all that matters to me.
And not in a small way, in a very big way, if this film takes off and does good, when Steve and I are in the ground, our artwork lives on. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want to. We want to make an impact. This isn't a trophy thing for us. Like, hey,
no.
Look at the poster behind us and we're done. Like, that's a failure to us. No. We want this signed to a decent, a good place, a good distribution company. We want all the horror fans. I said to myself, I told Steve, I told the cast that I won't be satisfied with this movie until I see the Dark Military logo tattooed on somebody, because then I know somebody. The second one was, do I see a cosplayer of the Dark Military? Was the second. And the third and final one, when I see the porn parody of the Dark Military. I know we did. Okay? So one of those three don't happen, I feel I failed.
This is true. He did mention this to me. The other thing is that during the editing process, I'm not sure if you guys filmmakers yourselves, or how you feel about that, but we poured over every individual frame of all the footage shot to make it what it is. Somebody asked me if they can look at the film so they can give me notes, and I'm like, there's not any notes that you can possibly give, because I can tell you right now, we pulled the best performances out of everybody. Yep. And it wasn't a situation where we filmed an actor given a take 3 times and we said the second take, okay, and then this take and shot A, B, C, D, and just put it all together. We took everything, every take, to really build up the performances and the rhythm of the film. So everything's in that film. Everything that we could possibly use is in that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, and you guys did one hell of a job with it. So kudos to you guys. and I can't wait for the theatrical release and the worldwide release, video on demand release of the Dark Military.
I'm waiting for a DVD or Blu-ray copy. That's what I want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to be there for that DVD menu. I want to help make the DVD menu. I want the DVD menu to be a little bit like the on-screen graphics that you see in the actual movie.
Yep.
You know?
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do some behind the scenes stuff. We'll make sure we have some.
I wanted to ask, who designed the Dark Military logo?
Me.
You're talking to him right there.
I love it. That is so cool looking.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Because we went
I saw
through
the trailer. That
15
was-
different versions of that logo to make that work.
It was, and for the record, Ray, that was important, like a marketing tool. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The T-shirts, the stickers, the the glasses. We got the mugs and everything.
You got a pillow behind you.
Exactly, the pillow. You want we are corporate horror movie. Okay, that's what we're going for.
You guys plan on doing any conventions, like going like we did reviews. I don't know if you guys seen The Barn or The Night
Yes.
of Strange. Yeah, I got to see a couple of those guys at like Days of the Dead, and I know they're going to be at the New Jersey Horror Con, and I think Horror Hound. Are you guys planning on setting up a booth?
We met the Barn guys at Monster Mania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're screening at the Jersey Horror Convention in September. Hopefully, we are too. We didn't get word yet, but yeah, those are good guys. They did it right too. You make merch.
Yeah.
We made stickers.
Oh, yeah.
We did a lot of stuff. I made end tables of the Dark Military. I mean, it's individual cards with each Dark Military member Steve designed and everything. So
Like trading cards?
yes,
Oh, that's
And-
cool.
yeah, I'm sure you want Jezebel's. I'll make sure you get it.
Yeah, give me my address.
But we took this very seriously. This wasn't. We don't look at this film as, hopefully, it matches up. We look at this. This is going to make it. You have to think that way.
Yeah.
Just to rewind back, when we were talking about other filmmakers that were putting out their movie, and me and Lauren would be like, I don't know about that. This goes back to what we're talking about, because it's like you got to push your movie and you got to brand it, so people
Yeah.
can get behind it and talk about it and point their finger at it and say, that's the movie I'm talking about. So Brian knows about Planet Mirrorball. Planet Mirrorball it was just a short trailer, but I want to make that into a feature. That's going to be a very expensive movie. That's not going to happen anytime soon, but that's my end goal. But to get that going forward, I made T-shirt designs. I made the cards and bubblegum cards and a host of other little product things and stickers. And all those lessons and all that stuff that I took to promote Planet Mirrorball is all funneled into the Dark Military. So, as a matter of fact, when Lauren was talking to one of the other producer people, it was Carino cards. But that's what you called it, Lauren?
Yep, Carino cards.
Yes, so because design these cards, and when people look at them, they're like, "Oh, look at that," and they get excited about it, and they got something to hold on to, So that's one of the powers that I brought to the film, just to build it up, kind of a thing.
So yes, thank you for all that. I think you wanted to talk some 80s and 90s horror, I believe.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you guys are down for that, it was just one of those secondary topics to talk about, because every Friday night, this is a new show for the main three writers for the Horror Syndicate, Ray, Merrick, Jared, and myself, and Ray being the president, Jared being vice president, and me being in charge of like the videos and being the video engineer and the live media personnel. This is something new that we want to bring. We want to start bringing in guests to talk about, their, future projects, because we are big supporters of independent horror, and we want to get everyone's name out there, and then do a live show and do some live chats again with people who are watching. Didn't get a lot of questions on our Facebook chats, but people are watching. And they're getting entertained, hopefully, and they're getting pumped for the Dark Military. Our secondary topic of tonight was going to be 90s horror movies. If you guys were down to talk about that for, let's say like 20 minutes.
What do you say? 90s horror films?
Yes.
90s horror films. But I wanted to
stretch it. I mean, it could be like, it's always interesting to talk to just any horror fan about like what kind of movies they're into, because not everybody's into the same thing. I mean, there's the obvious, movies that we all probably grew up with, like the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. But the whole 90s thing came up because it popped up on one of my friends' news feed, my top 10 movies from the 90s, and I was like, that's an interesting topic, because the 90s is kind of a down.
It was a dead year. Like, I don't know if I can name you 10 that I love. I definitely can't some, but I love.
Yeah.
It was a hard crash, because I think you really lived and died through the Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, like, the indestructible killers and zombies. But like when the 90s kind of flipped back to the humans, I like to call it like the Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer. They took it back, but and I think it died, kind of like heavy metal in the 90s died for a while before it came back. So
until Pantera came.
Yes, Pantera and probably Marilyn Manson were probably the only two that lived, that was born in the 90s and stayed relevant. Everything else was dead. It turned into Smashing Pumpkins.
Well, you guys mentioned that you guys have a found respect and love for Walter Hill's The Warriors.
Oh God, yeah.
I think Steve, I saw a comment on Facebook saying that The Warriors is best watched after midnight.
Did I say that?
I think it was you who said it.
Well, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that. If I didn't say it, then I agree with it, because, and there's two different cuts of The Warriors, and we can get into that later, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was the original cut, and then there's some bastardized cut they did for DVD.
Yeah, bastardized cut.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And which is a shame, because I had the original cut on beta, and I think I gave that away by accident or something.
Keep it going, because I have something to bring to the table. I'll be right back. I promise.
But as far as the Warriors concerned, there are movies that are good. First of all, I believe that movies should only be watched. Certain movies should be only watched at certain times of the day, and then there's certain movies that should only be watched at a certain time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we are in prime Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah, August is the best time to watch it. Of course, you can say like Halloween stuff around Halloween, whatever, but it's Texas Chainsaw works on a hot day. So.
Well, yeah, you get the feeling in the very beginning of the movie when you see the cemetery, the whole cemetery scene. It just looks like it's fucking blistering hot, and then everybody inside the van, it's so hot, And everybody's all sweaty.
I saw the trailer for this new prequel thing that's happening, and the problem I had with it is that it looks too good. It looks too expensive.
Yeah.
And I need the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to be raw as possible.
Yeah.
Gritty.
Gritty.
It's funny you say that.
Send film students out there with a 16mm camera and film it that way.
Well, watching the film on Blu-ray is kind of rough, because it takes away from the experience a little bit of how grainy the original cut is, and before they put it on Blu-ray really like cleaned it up quite a bit, I thought. I think it takes that and Evil Dead both takes away from the experience of the movie.
I haven't seen the Blu-ray version. I know what you're talking about. I think it's a 4K restoration. I think they did on it.
Yeah.
I have an older DVD version of it, and it's not anamorphically fit for a 16:9 TV. So it kind of looks ratty on a digital level.
Kind
of
what
I mean? Where it's like the encoding is just bad and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't have it right now. I used to have a VHS copy of it, but
Well, I have something to show you guys. I went to the Berlin Mart. Get this, I went to the Berlin Mart.
I go all the time. I'm going tomorrow.
And I found something in one of the only video stores there. This is actually a DVD of the original.
I I have that copy
in HD format. This is not the bastardized version that we've talked about, the Walter Hill director's cut.
That's like the first release of it. That's
Yeah,
the
this
first
is
release of it on Blu-ray, right? I mean, on DVD.
Yes.
Is
This
that
is it.
anamorphic?
Nope.
You got
On the
that?
back there, does it say anamorphic for 60x9?
Let me check. I don't see anything. Probably would say in the box.
It was saying that top box there.
Top box. Anamorphic 16x9.
You got a very good copy.
I got it for $8.
And you got it at the video store inside of the Berlin Mart, right?
Yes. And my wife said to me, she said, "Why are you getting the Warriors? Don't you already have it on DVD?" I'm like, "You don't understand."
Yeah.
I'm like, the Walter Hill version, the director's cut, just fucking destroyed it. We went into like the whole background of the movie, and we get it. It's based off of a Greek story where this army had to go back to their land because they were framed for killing a leader. We get that. That's fine. But there was nothing wrong with the original cut of it.
I think the problem with the original cut and trying to sell it to today's audience is that The Warriors is a little bit of a ridiculous movie. When, I mean, like, seriously, I mean, like, if there were just gangs, that'd be fine. But you got these guys that dress like clowns and guys that dress like baseball players.
Baseball
And
players,
I think that's where everything went south for it. And I'm like, oh, we can't sell it like a normal movie. We got to justify the fact that there's a mind game. So that's where I think all that craziness came in at, as far as Riyadh is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were embarrassed by it.
It was the cool concept. I read snippets of the novel that it was based off of, which is it's very graphic in adult nature. I think the Warriors were actually a gang of 16-year-old Puerto Rican boys from the Bronx. I'm not sure. I don't think that they were from Coney Island. And then I think the girl that they team up with, there's a gang rape that's involved, and then they leave her stranded.
That sounds more realistic.
Yeah.
That sounds more realistic than the lesbians or whatever that they encountered or whatever else, and the village people outfits that they had on, all that jazz. So
that video store that you got that from. A month ago, I got Revenge of the Ninja and American Ninja out of there. Same disc.
Boom.
Yes. You know how long I was looking for Revenge of the Ninja? Because that's all I watched when I was younger. And I wore my sweatpants, thought I was a ninja. I ran around tried kicking my cat, and I could never get it.
Oh, my God. I love Revenge of the Ninja. The canon.
Is that the Franco Nero one?
No, that's the Sho Kosugi.
Yes.
Okay.
The one where his whole entire family hilariously gets murdered in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes. And it was really easy to kill a ninja in that scene. Like, it was just like, you're a ninja. These guys are dying easily, so freaking. I think up the entire time, you had like the eyeliner. Like, I was just like, why are you a guy wearing eyeliner? I mean, I don't get it, but.
That was the thing, though. They all, like, when they got into the ninja attire, they immediately put on eyeliner. It was like the ninja fashion of the 80s.
Yeah. You're not allowed to fight without it, I guess. I don't
You have no if you have no makeup.
You're not allowed to fight.
The best fight in that fucking movie, I swear to God, the best fight in any ninja movie is when they fight the overweight village people in the public park. That is the best fight scene in any ninja movie.
Ever to top it all up, they keep coming back after him. It's like, you're really getting messed up. Like, this quit. You're not cut out for fighting. Stop it.
It's like, why are they fighting at a children's park? And then they go up on the bridge, like the play yard, like the bridge, and they fight on there, and they fight on the swings, and they fight on the monkey bars. It's absolute fucking mayhem.
Ones get drawn and no one runs. The parents are there holding their kids' hands. Watch out! Watch! There's a gun now.
like Sho Kosugi had like the most hilarious ninja. I played a movie on VHS at midnight, one of the sister sites we run here, and it was Rage of Honor,
Yes. That's
Yeah.
on the disc too. I didn't want to say that. Yeah, it's the third movie on that disc.
It was Jared's first time.
That was the
watching
first
that
time I
movie.
watched that guy. That movie was nuts.
Yeah.
But I think that was like, you know, out of the canon like ninja movies, I feel like that was like the strongest like storyline out of all the
Big
movies.
canon guys, for the record.
Yeah.
He's a big canon guy.
And yeah, canon movies are great. Personally, my favorite canon movie of all time is Death Wish 3. I don't think there's been any movie like it.
Invasion USA are very good too.
I'm a Delta Force man myself.
Yes.
Oh, I love the Delta Force.
Oh yeah.
That was like the ultimate movie. Like, I felt really bad because growing up Jewish, you feel bad for for your own people when they're put into like circumstances. And the first hour of the Delta Force is extremely depressing.
Yes.
Believe it or not, it's kind of a remake actually. The Delta Force. I don't know if you know this. I think it's a movie called Operation Thunderbolt. Does that sound familiar?
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Operation Thunderbolt, I came across this. I think it's Klaus Kinski. I think that's his name.
Klaus
Okay.
Kinski. Yeah.
Right. I think he's in that. And I was watching it, and it's like, wait a minute. And Menahem Globus, I think, directed it.
Mhm.
So it's a canon-ish movie, but made back in the 70s. And it's basically the same premise of the Delta Force, but it's very, very serious.
Wasn't that mentioned in the documentary about Canon?
You know
That they
what?
started
I wanted
making.
to see that. I haven't had a chance to see that yet.
Oh yeah, you have got to see it.
Oh
But
yeah, I
I-
want to
It's
see
great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really. It was
that.
on.
You know
Netflix.
what it is? Believe it or not, because Lauren and I have the same interest in films, we talk about these films and we're like, dude, we got to see this movie, or like, so maybe we'll watch it together. But for us to watch a movie together, it's very rare because
Yeah, it is. Maybe 4 a year.
because we're already together so long together that we don't want to be around each other anymore.
No.
I guess.
Yeah.
But we did watch a few films over the past year or so. We watched Body Double,
Oh God, yes, that was the best for me.
Star 80, Caligula.
Oh my god.
So for a record, I'm going to do a midnight screening.
No.
Caligula
You guys
at
go all in.
Trocadero. At the Trocadero, I'm going to do a
Two bros just watching Caligula.
It's
kick my ass off.
Have you guys ever watched the Italian cut of Caligula? It's basically the movie Caligula, but it was extended with scenes of pornography. And it's like they chose like these, like, I think it was like 4 people who were like porn stars. And they got them, it looked like, they got them on separate days of the original shoot. And they got them together to just like, suck each other off and shit like that. And it's like, in the Italian uncut version of this, you actually see like the money shot, and this girl swallows the load and everything, and it's just like, okay, I understand why they cut this out. It's like,
well, wait a minute, that sounds like the regular version of it.
no, the regular version has that huge orgy scene, and it does get a little intense, but the Italian cut has like penetration, and it's got like
That's the one we saw, right, Steve? That's the one you have?
No. Apparently, it might be. I think Brian's talking about something else, but I never heard about this, so I don't know. I know there's a R-rated
I thought I
version
saw
of it.
penetration, so.
So.
no. Look up the Italian cut of Caligula.
I'm way ahead of
Okay.
you.
It's a porno. It's just
And I
that.
will do a midnight showing of this movie because it's going to be the best thing I'm going to watch with people.
But like, Caligula was like that movie where you just can't believe that it was a movie.
Yes. That was a movie that slipped through me. He's like, "You never heard of Caligula?" He's like, "We're watching this shit." That's why we I'm like, "Holy shit, this happened!"
And it had respectable names. It had Helen Mirren. It had Malcolm McDowell. It had Sir John Gielgud. It just had like this A-list like roster of actors, in this movie. And
well, the big question is that, and maybe the answer is on the Blu-ray, because I know they came up with a Blu-ray version and there's an actual audio commentary on it.
Mhm.
I missed picking it up when it first came out. I think it's out of print now, and the price is astronomical. But I want to get this Blu-ray. I want to hear the audio commentary on it. I want to know what Malcolm McDowell was thinking about it when he made the movie, and what his thoughts are on it now, basically. Because they talk about, like, oh, well, we filmed the movie, and then Bob Guccione, the guy who financed it, head of Penthouse Magazine, went behind our backs and added these gory sex scenes. But I'm like, but you're there. I don't get it. You're there. So like, how does this work for you? So that's my take on it. I mean, it's an unusual movie. I guess it's kind of a ripoff of a Fellini movie or whatever. You want to get that deep into it, you know. But my taste of films, I mean, you can see behind me, I got Mad Max and Big Trouble in Little China. The posters and stuff that I hang up in my place, I hang for the artwork. But the majority of the movies I watch, I don't watch too much modern movies or TV, binge watch anything on TV. I usually try to watch something exceptional. Doesn't matter what year it was made. I just want to watch original content, something that's going to make me think of some, you know what I mean?
Something
Instead of
that's
just
worth
going
your
through the
time.
motions. What's that, sir? Jared?
Something that's worth your time.
Just worth my time. Just, you know, so it's almost like films are like a drug, and I'm looking for that new high. I'm not looking for the same thing over and over again. I want to go someplace new. I don't need to be fed the same thing over and over again. Lauren has a very strong aversion to remakes, and I totally get that. I mean, I'm not too excited about the It remake, because that whole opening shot with the water and the little paper boat going down to the sewer, it looks pretty on point from the original movie. So I don't feel the need to have to run out to the theater to see that. If it crosses my path on video on demand, that's where that movie lays for me, you know? But that's about it. One of my favorite films is called Seconds by John Frankenheimer. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that or not. Okay, it stars Rock Hudson from the mid-'60s.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that.
The ending of that movie is terrifying. And I can't spoil it for you, but basically the concept is that it's a middle-aged guy. He gets a chance to be Rock Hudson. He can change from his older middle-class life and be a young Rock Hudson. And he can't handle this, because to be Rock Hudson means to say that to his wife and child that he died. So he had to like fake his death to become a younger man, and he can't handle it. And he can't handle that new life either. He just can't handle life, period. And because he can't handle life, you know, things start happening to him bad, you know, socially bad, not, you know, anything mystical or magical or nothing. So it's a terrifying film. And even if I'm working on the Dark Military or the projects I'm working on now, people steal from everywhere. But if you go off the off-beaten path and you look at different films outside of the genre that you're working in, and then you bring in those elements, one thing that I always found scary, how many of you guys are married?
Oh, I am.
Okay. All right. I'm not married. Okay. I'll probably never be married. Nothing against you guys or anything like that. But there's a scene in The Sound of Music of all movies. The Sound of Music can have some scary stuff in it. And there's a part where, because if you guys know The Sound of Music or not, Maria, played by Julie Andrews, she used to have a life with the nuns. She meets a guy, through a bunch of drama, whatever. Then they finally decide to get married. So this heavy organ music, almost like Phantom of the Opera style organ music, is playing in this gigantic cathedral church. And the nuns help her dress in this wedding gown. Nuns were a big part of her life. They lead her towards the cathedral, and then they close this metal gate behind Julie Andrews, basically saying, this part of your life is over with. You have to move forward.
You're cut
And
off.
it kind of like sends a chill down my spine when I see that. And then, by the way, when the nuns close that gate, that organ music goes, boom, it just goes down. And it's just like, that's so chilling. Like, okay, that music going down, this feeling of like something being left behind, that's something you can use. That's something you can use in a screenplay or when we're editing, or that sound can be used, you know? And where did that come from? The sound of music, you know, which in our, you know, realm of horror guys that wear black t-shirts, that's probably the most sissy thing you can possibly watch. But you got to pull sources from unconventional areas.
Yeah,
That's the way I look at it.
yeah.
I get that. That's cool.
I personally think the Sound of Music is metal as fuck. But you know, but no, you're absolutely right. You know, and you get the thing is, you get a lot of horror directors who started out doing horror and then they end up becoming very successful. Doing dramas, doing this, doing that. Yeah, like, you know, I'm not gonna toot his horn or anything like that, but you know, the beginning of Steven Spielberg's career, he was doing horror movies.
Yep.
The beginning of James Cameron's career, he was doing horror movies. He did a sequel to a horror movie, Piranha 2.
Yeah, he got fired off that. He got fired off that. He got really pissed off. He was sick, and that's somewhere in his delirium came up with the Terminator.
Got you. I thought he wanted the piranhas to like hold each other while riding on a boat or something. They're like, yeah, fuck your idea. But you know, that's an excellent movie. That's actually, I would consider the Terminator a slasher. It's like this retro slasher. It's cyberpunk slasher. Except we know with a knife or machete. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger with a gun.
It's
you know,
dark.
someone
I mean, the Terminator is a dark film, and Terminator 2 is such a glossy blockbuster film. So glossy is Terminator 2 that they're re-releasing it in theaters again, 3D, whatever, and it still holds up. The movie's 25 years old, and it looks like it could have been made yesterday. It still holds up. The sequels, they don't. But
no.
It's just like, just like we were talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If they could make the Terminator as raw, if they make another Terminator movie, if they can make it as raw as the first one, that, I mean, and not care about having a PG-13 rating, just go total R, you know, and where, you know, this Terminator will rip hearts out of people's chests, or, you know, just mangle people. That's what I would like to see. I think that would be it.
Get rid of all the side story time travel stuff. That's what's ruined the rest of the movies. Well,
you can put the bed for a while, I think. Just put that franchise to bed. Same thing with Aliens. Just put it to bed for a little bit. Let us all recoup here, you know?
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right, Ray. That fucking, you know what? Seeing the Terminator 3, okay, sure, whatever.
I liked it. I'm sorry, I stick up for the movie a lot. I do. Just that very last one, I was like, what happened?
Oh my god. Genesis?
Yeah.
Hell, dude.
Well, to be honest, I didn't see it. I just saw the trailer, and I'm like, this time out. No.
The Genesis, Terminator Genesis, is basically a PG-13 adaptation of the first movie.
Mixed in with the second one.
Yes.
Mixed in with the last one.
There's certain times when something's been around too long, like you're putting Arnold in it at that age. I know, like, they storyline, they probably figured out how to make him look like it's okay for him to be old, but I don't know. There's certain times I've always been a fan of, like, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair were great. They stayed around too long. You know, Muhammad Ali stayed around too long, and then, you know, like, go out when you're on top and don't come back like Jim Brown did. You know, like this, go out on top, and that franchise, you can't do that. Like, you need to go to a different world with it. I don't think you need to go back. You need to go to a different world with it. which I like with Terminator Salvation. Everyone shit on it, but I stick up for it. At least they tried something. They went to a different world. Like, we're going into the future.
Finally,
I think people just crapped on it because it's the first film without Arnold and Linda Hamilton in it together, you know? But I enjoyed it.
I agree with you on the Salvation. I just was disappointed that they couldn't make another one because they were supposed to make more than one. But you know, and I saw yesterday that they are going to redo Terminator again, and Arnold's going to be in it. So we'll never win.
What?
Yeah.
I've been seeing that all in the news feed. Yeah, like why?
Why? Because of money. Because they got the rights. They got the rights, and they can roll with it. And as long as they can think they can make a profit, that's all this is about. It's a job.
Yeah, it is.
It's a job. It's not hard. It's a job.
Well,
that's all we want.
I'm just happy
just
that
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into a Spider-Man conversation.
No, God no.
Nobody wants that. But yeah, but they got the rights, and same thing with Fantastic Four. I don't want to get into superheroes, but this is all about money. Yeah. So they got the rights. They got to make it. They got to make the film or lose it.
Yeah. Well, Ray Zor is actually probably the biggest comic book fan out of the three of us. He actually draws comics.
I don't draw comics. I write them.
He writes.
I'm sorry. He writes comics. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Problems will be over.
I am just screwing up everyone's titles tonight, and I do apologize to the rest of the world watching.
I'm a creator.
That could be your stick for every interview you do. You screw everything up for their positions.
That is, yeah. it really, I'm the bad guy, and everyone gets to correct me on my mistakes.
Lauren, he plays Jezebel, and
I'll return in the sequel as Mother Nature. That's what I'll do.
What happened to your boobs, Lauren?
But yeah, the comic book movies are just a cash grab. I mean, I know that
I think they got 5 years and then it's all over.
They're not going away.
Oh, no, I still think there's going to be an utterable crash because, especially the Marvel universe has that as
they are not going away. They're not going. Everyone's talking about that. I understand your point of view.
We'll have to start making money to go away.
And that's what's going to be. They'll pull the plug when they're not making money. And I think if there's too many and you can't keep up with them, or they're crossing the universe, that you have to see these other 3 movies, or you won't know what's going on over here. It's a smart move and it's a risky move that I think is going to be the death of it.
I have a whole way different opinion about this. There is too much money involved, not just in the movies, but we're talking the toys and the branding in Disney World. Because Disney owns the Marvel Universe, so they're going to be all over Disney World. They're not going to go away. The thing about it is that movies nowadays that are in the theater is a larger version of episodic TV. So that's why you see endless sequels. It's just another episode of a TV show, bigger, broader, more advertising. But because the movies that go to the theater, they already know where they're going to be on home video, in 4 months. So movies are just an extension of what's going to be on TV. It's basically the perfect version of public TV is what movie theaters are. So they're always going to be there. So if it comes to a time where the superheroes are not making as much money and everybody thinks it's going to crash, it's going to just move over to TV. They're going to keep those IPs rolling, and there's always going to be a segment for them. There's always going to be a home for them. But they're always going to be there. They're never going to go away. The larger problem, is what's going to happen to the future of movie theater going. I saw an article, I'm not an expert on this, but I saw an article recently where apparently AMC theater stock took a big crash. Okay? And here's a theater chain that's trying to take out all their seats and put in the leather, recliners and and soda that you can get any flavor soda, 100 different flavor sodas and all this, fancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people still are not going to the theaters. You still can, the average, you can go to a theater, except for maybe a Friday and Saturday night, and the theater will be practically next to empty.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, and you could fit 4 times more people in the theater, that was almost unheard of unless that movie was literally at the door the next day. Every weeknight, that theater would be kind of packed or whatever. But now it's like, people have a casual take it or leave it attitude towards films now.
Well, do you think it's because there's not the like I remember when I was a kid, going to a movie was a huge event. Now, it's not an event. It's like it's just knowing that the DVD release is going to be. It's going to be out 4 months from now, or I can find a bootleg online. Shit like that. So I think that's part of the problem too. That's why we talked about this a while ago on one of our shows, where like the new Child's Play movie is straight video on demand, and the Texas Chainsaw one is going to be on video on demand. It seems like for horror, especially, that might be safer.
They might not want to put all that money into the advertising.
Yeah, well, think about what movie was that, Brian, that killed Friday the 13th? Was it Rings?
It was Rings. It was Rings, right, Jared?
Yep.
The Rings series.
The new Rings movie. It was Paramount Pictures. They relied on the success of Rings in order to make the new Friday the 13th movie. But shame on them, because that video came out and recreated the brand altogether.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have played the video games. Here at the Heart Syndicate, me and Jared play all the time.
Brian, let me throw this at you. I just found out today. I went up to Vintage Stock and I bought some. I had to get Reanimator on Blu-ray, and
awesome.
I picked that up, and I picked up a few other horror movies. The House That Dripped Blood, and Mario Bava's Bay of Blood. Twitch of the Death Nerve, which I'm going to watch tonight. Anyway, I'm there and I'm talking, and so I bought a used copy of Friday the 13th Part 6 because I have to own all the copies. That's just me. And so I got it home and I opened it, and it had Part 7 in it. And I had already got that copy of Part 7, so I talked to her, and she says, "Yeah, this is out of print now." And I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, they're going to release a new edition of the DVDs and Blu-ray on October 10th. And I'm like, "Oh." And then I thought about it. I was like, "This coincide with the release of the physical copy of the game."
Yeah,
it has to.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there since we talked about how the game has reinvigorated the fandom for the Friday the 13th series.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned earlier about like the concept of this movie Rings was going to help with the Friday the 13th next film, which is ridiculous because that's even though it's horror, it's not the same kind of horror. I have no interest in Rings. I have interest in Friday the 13th, but I have no interest in any Ring movie.
I loved actually the 2 Ring movies, but you're going 10 years later and you don't have the cast. You don't have Aiden, and probably Naomi Watts wasn't in that, right?
I don't.
I'm like, you're really taking a risk and just running with the character of Samira now, and I'm like, I shied away from it. I could see why that didn't do good in any way.
And also another thing is they branded towards social media as the way for Samara to come out. It used to be the tube top televisions. Of course, that was the big thing in the early millennium. And now you're coming out. You're right, like over 10 years later, and now Samara's coming out of YouTube.
Yeah,
it's. I mean, cool. I get it. You're aiming for a new generation, but here's the thing: the generation of teenagers were barely alive when the first Ring movie came out, when the second Ring movie came out. If they're going to do something with the Rings and make it, worthwhile, at least give something to the fans of the first 2. Don't try to PG-13 modernize something that really it probably won't work out in the first place, and then use that as a crutch to set up the success for the Friday the 13th movie.
That's another problem with movies these days. Is one of the things about The Ring? I like The Ring, the original first one.
Yeah, the first movie, yeah.
You know, I like those movies, and they work because of the time period, the VHS time period. That's over, and now she's going viral. I'm guessing is what's going on in this. She's gonna be one busy bitch. I'll tell you what, because dominate the whole world. But you need to be quiet. My daughter. But anyway, I think that, you know, Hollywood and the film industry, we see movies that, you know, period pieces. And I'm starting to think a lot of horror movies would benefit from not being set now and be set in, and like when they make Friday the 13th, I think Friday the 13th works best in the 80s. I think, you know, there's not Michael Myers. I mean, I think it would be super simple to exterminate a serial killer these days compared to back in the 80s when there's the social media and all the technology, where the dark military, it plays right into social media, which is a good thing about that movie. So that movie fits right where it is. Where, you know, like if they make a Friday the 13th, am I wrong to think that it should be set in the 80s?
No.
I go the opposite side with you on that one. I was talking to Steve about this. I have an idea, but who doesn't? Everyone has a Friday the 13th in their head. But I have an idea of putting it right now. 1 through 7 happened, and this is the next era. And kind of I have an idea of like keeping it tribute to what happened, but also bringing it to modern time without going that too far over the line where you're like, you know, I don't want to see Jason with a cell phone, you know, like that. But you know, I want to update him, still home homage to what happened. So I hate when you just kind of, if you're gonna stick in the 80s, where do you go? Like what? Like what do you do? You're gonna either recycle or you're gonna try to find an off story.
Yeah.
You gotta update them.
One of my ideas for the for if we were to reboot or, you know, continue the Friday the 13th movies, why not bring back the original?
Skipped over part 8.
What?
I don't have like really much to say. like oh yeah, what are they gonna talk about at one point? Because I kind of have like in my head an idea of that all happened. Crystal Lake's basically off limits by the state. No one the right man to go there, and there's a reason there's gonna be some activity there. So there's a lot of news media like this is the same place that it happened. Yada yada. I don't want the news media to say, yeah, and one time you got on a boat and went to Manhattan. Like it just can't happen, like, you know. So, I have an idea of bringing a lot of those old head characters back that survived, saying this is a bad place, yada yada. I kind of want to do some homage to those characters that lived, even if
I would love exactly. I would love to see the old characters come back and kind of run a support group.
Yes, I don't want to get too much, but yeah, they kind of know, like, don't, you know, what you're about to do. So yeah, so part 8 really can't be brought. No one really saw what happened in part 8 anyway, right?
We can write the movie.
Jason X, I guess.
We absolutely can write the movie. You know, they have a support group. A new camp opens up with all these kids. Jason comes back, and I don't know. Tommy Jarvis has a kid who goes to that camp, and then the ending of the movie is Tommy Jarvis getting into a gear and having a fucking standoff with Jason for one final round. That would be like the ultimate Friday the 13th movie.
I think that's what's needed because my entire thing runs around Tommy Jarvis and a couple of the other survivors, but Tommy's everything.
But you would do a Tom Matthews Tommy, not a Corey Feldman Tommy, right? Because
number one, I saw Tom Matthews only a year ago on Monster Manny. He's still kind of together. He's still kind of in shape. You know, like shit. Now listen, I'm a Corey Feldman guy. And
hold on. Can you get something
a lot, but Corey Feldman's like 4'11". Like it's just not gonna work, man. It's just not gonna work. You know, it's more believable. I think Tom Matthews is more mobile than him. You know, so I would have to go with him. That's if, but I just think Hollywood's eyes, you got to go back. I think that's just where their mind is set.
Yeah.
And for all those characters, the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, I want to see go forward. I don't want to. You don't have to go, but you don't have to live in a time capsule. Appreciate the time capsule, pay homage to it, but let's go forward.
Yeah, that's where they're. I don't know where they're going with Halloween 3. This new Halloween 3 thing. You guys heard about that?
Yeah, I'm actually excited for it. I not just because Danny McBride is going to be the executive producer, and not because John Carpenter is helping with the writing, and has
I
given
put no faith in that concept, actually. So
yeah, and
That's like-
it's
he made it known in the interviews he's there for the paycheck. Now,
yeah. Yeah, but it would be really cool because they said that they're continuing so many years later after the hospital incident, one where Dr. Loomis and Mike Myers had their showdown in the with the oxygen tank and the fire, and I think they were mentioning something about copycats, like because of what happened, it started a whole trend of like kind of like the Charles Manson, how he has all these
Oh my
fans.
God, that's not going to make people happy. Look at Friday the 13th Part 5.
Yeah.
Who hates that movie? I love that movie, but a lot of people hate it.
I know because it's Roy and not Jason.
Yeah.
It's a copycat.
But
Oh, you want to say copycat? Look what Rob Zombie did in the second Halloween. It's like, oh, we made it about mommy. Like, you can't do that. There's an ultimate guy that loves his mommy. You can't do that.
it's as bad as it is. I do have a soft spot for Halloween 2. I mentioned this before, but
Oh, right.
I saw 31, and 31 was garbage.
wow.
Like I have not seen the Lords of Salem. I heard mixed reviews about that.
No interest.
But
Rob's problem is he's got to let his wife go. She does not have to be in every film.
It doesn't have to be in every fucking movie.
Not wrong at all.
Killing his own career. Like, the best thing for him is he could have did that Broad Street Bully movie, and that would have separated that guy can do other things in horror. I really think that would have been the best thing for him. Instead, he does Lords of Salem. Like,
yeah, he can keep his Leonard Skinner soundtrack. That's fine. But I agree. I would like to see a Broad Street Bullies movie that he's been in talks for almost a
Should
decade.
have made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not Halloween.
What was that?
I think Rob Zombie would have been better suited for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake than Halloween, because the House of Thousand Corpses has elements that remind me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
But it would just be it would be too close. Wouldn't you think?
Well, yeah, when he was announced for Halloween, the Halloween versus Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when we look at the originals, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a very raw movie, where Halloween is not, well, and Texas Chainsaw is in your face, where Halloween is not. It's more
It's polished.
yeah.
Polished,
it's polished. It's almost like I can't even think of a term that I want to use for it, but it's like
Subtle.
yeah, exactly. They're like
That's cool.
on two different ends of the slasher genre, where Rob Zombie turned Halloween into Friday the 13th. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but he also made a big mistake by fucking giving Michael Myers a face and a reason. That was my biggest problem with his Halloween
And
movie.
that's his reason from the beginning. That's his idea. That's his genesis idea. He's totally doubled down on that concept of. And if you read some of the things that he wrote, the comics, whatever that he wrote, and of course the Devil's Rejects, he's all into this like psychobabble about what makes a serial killer. He's all into that topic. So he just funneled all that energy into Halloween, and that's where he's always been, is this what makes a serial killer mindset, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I don't know how that reconciles with the rest of the second half of the Halloween Rob Zombie film, or Rob Zombie's H2. I don't know how that all reconciles, where John Carpenter's version of Michael Myers makes no sense. And makes no sense if we were living in that world, in this fictional Haddonfield, Illinois. It makes no sense. It makes sense in a way that as a filmmaker, John Carpenter, he's messing with us, the audience, because he's playing against our expectations of what this killer can do. He's not stopping, and that's what makes the fear. But in reality, if we were a character in that reality, it makes no sense that he can get up after being shot and they try to explain it away in all those sequels about the Thorn witches or whatever it was all about. I don't even
The
remember.
cult of the Thorn.
Yeah. So the concept that Michael Myers is just, he's a man. He's a very young man. He's 21 actually, you know, and you think you could stop him, but he can't be stopped because that's just messing with you storytelling wise. The presentation of that movie. That's what's so great about that film. The more sequels you make, the weaker it's just going to get. That's the weaker that character gets.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. But a shout out real quick to Steve Carino from Maddie.
Yeah, my
Hi,
10-year-old niece.
Steven.
So which is kind of disturbing because I mean, like, she shouldn't be hearing half this stuff. So.
Oh God. Hey, it happens. Horror starts young. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It does.
I don't think your parents appreciate that,
but yeah. So you know, it was great having you guys on here talking horror with us. This is something we love doing every Wednesday and Friday night. We're going to wrap this show up. So any shout outs to anyone watching right now, greatly appreciated before we wrap this up. Starting off with Steve. Any shout outs to anyone watching?
Well, if my niece is still watching, which I doubt, she was out with my brother. Hello, and I'll be talking to you soon. But beyond that, no. Anyone that listened to all of this, thank you very much. And please, if you get a chance, check out the Dark Military. These gentlemen have a very high opinion about horror films, and they liked it, so that means something. That's very special to me. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And Lauren.
First off, I would say thank you to the Horror Syndicate for having us, for the review, and for your support. Steve and I love doing stuff like this, so thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words on the film. So special shout out to my cast and crew, and to the horror fans that watch this show. Please give us a shout out and check us out on Facebook. It's just the Dark Military. And like I said a little earlier, we're about to do our Film Fest run, and you get updates of where you can see that. And while we were just on the subject of killers, mass killers, I will give one spoiler. I hate it in Halloween when Michael Myers' mask came off, and Friday the 13th when their mask came off. The Dark Military characters wear masks and they're never coming off. Ever, 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 ever. Even if one of them dies, you're never going to know who they are. I always hate it when a mask comes off. You're like, that's it.
The mask comes off, there's another mask. Like,
yeah, or like Friday the 13th Part 3 when Jason was smiling. I'm like, he's smiling at me? I'm like, get the... I'm thinking, pick up a hammer and go after it. The scare factor is gone. So yeah, you'll never see that. Not my movie.
That's all part of the video game is demasking Jason. It's the only way to kill him.
Wow.
That also kind of humanizes the people when you demask them, you know?
I think it humanizes them, yeah. I just don't think it's like, that's it, you know? That's it. Like Kiss. Were you excited when Kiss took their makeup off? You're just like, you shouldn't have did that.
Oh, they're writing love ballads. How cute.
Let's put the accents.
How about the wrestler when his mask came off? Were you excited over that? Like, come on.
All right. Well, my name is Brian Enright. You can follow me here on Facebook at Brian Enright, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Jew. Up next, Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we find you?
You can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or at Twitter, zombie_survivor. Thanks to Lauren and thanks to Steven for hanging out with us tonight. It's always nice to hear different horror fans' opinions on stuff. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you very much, Jared. And of course, the man himself, the president of the Horror Syndicate, Ray Zor. Ray, where can we find you?
And don't forget future husband of Jezebel. You know where you can follow me at Razor_33 on Twitter. Apogee Comics is the comic page, and Rage of Razor on Facebook if you want. That's my fun page that I don't do anything with. So, thanks guys for coming on. You guys are great. Just talking the genre and talking about the movie. Pretty awesome.
All right. Hopefully to see you guys soon. We're all local.
All right. Thank you very much, Lauren and Steve, and everyone out there. Have a great rest of the night and stay safe this weekend.
Great.
All right. You guys can hang on.